It is time now for another episode of Council Bluffs Today, presented by Waldstein Plumbing. I am Todd Studer. Special guest in studio today, Mr. Jason James with Heartland Properties. Good to see you.
It's good to be here. Thanks for asking me, Todd.
Well, this is, it's been fun getting to know you and your team a little bit better in the recent weeks and months. And I know that you guys are pretty busy. It's a good problem to have, right? Especially this time of year.
It's been awesome, and I attribute a lot of that to the new younger guy, I have Jake Standard. He came on the team, and he brought some energy back to me, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know if I was a little burnt out or what it was, but I mean, I felt like both Yvette and I both, he's been great, and it's my business has been, as I was telling you earlier, and we were talking, my business has been the busiest 2 months I think I've ever had the last 2 months. So wow. It's been going great.
That is, well, that's a testament to not only the work that you're putting in, but also that the team is putting in as well. Because I know you're really high on Jake, and we've talked about this, and I think that with what we are seeing, and I follow him on social media and follow you guys. Yeah. So I know the kind of stuff that he's out there doing, and he's doing everything right. It looks to me anyway.
Well, and he is, and he's thinking of stuff I wouldn't have thought of. Like, I wouldn't have done a podcast before. And I'm like, I'm now pushing, like, we need to do more of these podcasts. This is the best way. This is the way to communicate with people. This is where people are getting their news. This is, it's so hard to trust news today. And when you can look someone in the face on a podcast or have them tell you something, or even I'm talking about our properties, if it's a trusted individual, when you see them in person, so he's got me doing things that are a little out of my comfort zone, but I'm getting more comfortable.
There is some certain tricks that I teach people when they're talking about podcasting, and one of them is the fewer edits you can do, the better. And you talked about the longer form,
right?
Such as, it's happened to me several times that I know you don't have your phone on you, but I've had a phone go off, and just happened when I was out at the fair, and I let him know. I said, by the way, you're going to think I took this out. I didn't. Oh. I don't take those out.
That's just real life.
It's real life. That happens. When people talk, they say, they say things that say, oh, wait a minute, lost my train of thought. All of those are real parts of conversation. Yep. And that's where we're at right now. People crave authenticity.
I was going to say, promise me, though, you'll interrupt me if I have a booger in my nose or something like that. You'll at least tell me that. I mean, you'll edit that out, won't you?
I'll take care of that. So I heard somebody describe it not that long ago as make sure I don't have any bats in the belfry. That kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, those are good things to have. So talk to me about some of the projects that you have going on around town right now. I know there's the big 55 plus one going out on Ivy.
Yes. So that one I'm pretty passionate about. I went through a lot to get that all through with the city, and the city was great. Everyone from the mayor to the planning to the council, and we had some neighbors that were real nervous about it, and I understand that. I mean, I understand it, but it was zoned for what I'm putting there, and in my opinion, it was a low impact use for there. It's going to be a senior housing 55 and over, and I will tell you, I think like 55 and over, I'm 2 years away. I qualify for this, but I would say that, and how it really came about, I guess I'd like to talk about that for a second, because I had built those townhomes up on Patrick Circle, and we rent those for anywhere from $2,300 to almost $2,500 a month, which is a lot for rent. And I had people come up there, a lot of people that sold their homes that they had them paid for, and these weren't cheap homes, $300,000 to $700,000, and then they put their money in investments and just rented from me. But I got a lot of calls from people that wanted to rent them. But when they heard the rent, it was just too much money, and I can totally understand that. And then I built those Ridgeline apartments on Valley View. And I had some people that came there that were kind of more my age and older, but they didn't want to live in an apartment setting as much. They're like, I don't want to live with all the stuff going on in apartments. And I thought to myself, like, who's building housing for seniors? Right now you got people building low income like Emmanuel and some of the others, and they do a great job. And then you got the people building the nice stuff, some of the nice independent living that's fairly pricey, and there's people that can afford it, but there's these people in the middle, and these people work their whole life, paid all their bills on time, maybe put their kids through college or help their kids out. They don't even have a lot of debt. They have good credit. It's just that they've been living on enough to pay their bills, take care of their family, and not sit enough aside for like an emergency or something.
Right.
So say if your furnace went bad or your roof, they have to like literally refinance their house to get enough money to go put a $12,000 roof on. Some of these people, don't want to deal with that maintenance anymore or deal with, having to take care of a property. And I envision a lot of my renters will probably be 60, 70, 80, but a lot of those people I think will sell their homes and come rent from me there. And I'm building this particular facility. The rents are going to range from in the 1200s with the maximum bigger units. I mean, that are like 3 bedrooms up in the 1600s or so. But most of them are going to be in the $1,200 to $1,400 a month range. And but we're not doing all the things some of the more expensive places are doing. We're not feeding them meals or cooking meals for them. But if they need help with that and they don't want to move, we're going to line them up with a service for that. But what I really wanted to do is not be a typical apartment complex. I wanted to build a place for people 55 and over that we're going to create connections. So we put a community room on each floor. We put a workout area. We put when you come in the lobbies where the elevators are, there's a fireplace and there's coffee tables and chairs and couches where people can kind of hang out in the lobby. And then we're going to do some light programming, like say for instance a St. Pat's Day. We might have corned beef and cabbage, or a Chiefs football game. We might do some things, and then we also put in like a game room so they can maybe do puzzles or read or have we're still kind of figuring that out, but we're just trying to make sure people have the opportunity. They can just rent there and live in their apartment, but if they want to come out and create connection, they have the opportunity to meet their neighbors and hang out. And I don't know who else is really doing that in town. Not against anyone else, any negative, just I don't think anyone's really doing that other than in the real high dollar places or the low income. And we're going to be right in the middle for that person that, worked an honest job their whole life, paid their bills on time, and just can't afford to pay $3,000 or $4,000 a month.
Well, first off, you mispronounced Falcons. I take heat from Travis all the time about being a Falcons fan, but no, I get exactly what it is that you're saying. I'm wondering though, when you first started to have the idea of the concept of this, was the facility itself the first thing that came to your mind, or were the services and then kind of create the facility around that?
That's a good question. And when I think about it here, I guess I think it came from the need. I have always been someone that's thought a need. Clear back at Heartland when we did Eagle Trail down there on the east side of Manawa, where all those houses, which used to be affordable, we used to sell those for $139 with
Yeah.
$2,000 in closing costs. That same house sells for $300 now. When we built those, I said, I went to John, my partner at Heartland, and I said, John, we have to build something that is in Lewis Central School District because I feel like there's a heck of a demand there that's affordable. And we built those, and 170 houses there. Kenny Peterson built them, almost all of them. There were a few other builders that built a few of them, and those sold like crazy. We did great. Well, this is the same type situation. I was getting calls. People wanted to rent from me. They wanted a single family home, or they didn't want to live in the apartments, and the stuff on Patrick was too expensive. So I said, what if I could build some like that? What if I built kind of a hybrid apartment slash living center where they could have some extra features and some extra activities that don't cost me a lot, but will help create connection. So the manager that lives there, they'll also be a little bit of a kind of I don't know, event coordinator or planner. And that's why we put the community rooms too, because some of these apartments are smaller. So like say your kids want to have a birthday party for you, or you want to have some kind of get together, you can just check out one of the community rooms at no charge, and we don't charge for it, and you can use it, and it has a bathroom, a little kitchenette, and a place where you can have a little party.
If you're looking for a laid-back spot with great food and even better company, it's the Mile Away on Old Lincoln Highway north of Council Bluffs. This family-run bar and grill is your go-to for mouth-watering wings, unbeatable weekly specials, and a welcoming atmosphere that feels like home. So, if you're catching a game, enjoying one of those specials, or just unwinding after a long day, the Mile Away has you covered. Open every day, Tuesday through Sunday at 8 for breakfast, and don't forget them at lunch and dinner time as well. It's the Mile Away, Old Lincoln Highway, north of Council Bluffs. S&B Country Kennel is the top spot in southwest Iowa when you need to know your dog will receive only the best. Boarding, daycare, grooming, self-washing, training, and even a membership available to a dog park over an acre in size. S&B Country Kennel also has rescue dogs, so check with them about adoption possibilities. sbcountrykennel.com. That's country spelled with a K. Located just west of I-29 on Bungie Avenue, south of Council Bluffs. Are you looking for something to do close to home? Go Local Iowa brings Southwest Iowa events together in one place, from live music and fundraisers to festivals, family activities, and community celebrations. It's also a place to discover local businesses and support the people who keep our communities moving. Before you make your weekend plans, check golocaliowa.org. Go Local Iowa. Find what's happening right here at home.
I really like the idea, and I think too, I'm sure that was part of what you were thinking of, is that at different age groups, and yeah, I do qualify for this place. We are looking for different things.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we are looking for is a way to connect with people, because for the most part, kids are gone, and everybody's out living their own lives. And now we're kind of sitting here and like, okay, well, what do we do next? Well, I guess I can go mow the lawn again. Oh, I don't really want to mow the lawn again. And so to be able to transition out of something like that into a pretty decent area of town.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome
Yeah.
area of town. And I personally think there's a decent amount of people that live in that area that maybe will gravitate to our place. I think when it's all done and they actually get to see it, there's a little bit of the negative when we started there, but I think once they all see it and it's all landscaped and everything, and they know people that are there, I think it will be a positive. And they do these studies that say, the more social you are, the more connections you have, the more longevity you have.
Right.
And that's going to be a win-win for both of us, because if we keep people active and create connections, they're hopefully going to live longer and rent from us and stay there, and hopefully have a richer life. And I will tell you, there's something, I think some of my residents on Patrick Circle, if they see this podcast, would agree. There's a place in my heart for kind of helping older people. And I go up there and I was just up there this morning, and one of my tenants up there had a dishwasher issue, and I went up there and helped them kind of straighten it out. I thought, I don't need to call someone for this. And I guess I just feel like people that are older, that work hard their whole life, deserve to live in a nice place and have a rich last 20 years of their life or whatever. And why shouldn't I create something like that for them and them not have to pay, $3,000, $4,000 a month? Why can't we create something that's affordable where they can have a great life? And that's going to be one of the things we're going to really do unique, is our manager is going to work on, like, again, creating those connections, doing things. It's not going to be every night, but there will be things to do so that they get out of their apartments if they want. If they don't want to be bothered, they can stay in there. But if they want to come out and do something, we want to have stuff going on, or at least opportunities.
We have something everybody talks about now, from community leaders all the way down to guys like me who are just residents, that we do have a housing problem. It's just a lack of inventory. And it's a little bit better, but still there's a long way to go. And oftentimes when somebody takes a look at, say, the project like yours, well, why aren't you doing this, or why aren't you doing that? Because we got to do all of it. It's going to take all of these different things.
Yeah.
And we can't just, pull the tablecloth back and then suddenly we have X amount of new vacancies and things that are available for people. It's a process, and it takes a while.
I agree 100%. And I would say, like on our particular project, it should free up some single family homes that people move from, or maybe younger families can move in, or retired people that are able to take care of a house and not overwhelmed by some of the maintenance of a house that's a little bit older. But one of the ideas I've also come up with, and I have not done this yet, but everyone talks about, affordable housing. And I believe, and I haven't taken the time to really dig in, but I believe one of the ways you could help solve it is basically build an upper scale apartment complex and condo the units and then sell them. Because I know what it costs to build a unit, and you could build units for 250,000 or less, and they would own their unit and garage. And yes, it wouldn't be the sexiest thing at first, but it gets young people or older people in the market affordable. Then they can go to that next house, or maybe some just want this, just want a second house or a retirement place. But I would tell you, I think people need to start thinking of different ways to do it and building maybe a building that again is condoed. You see it in the big cities where there's tons of demand. If a lender listens to this, they'll say the challenge is, financing, because the banks don't want to lend on them until they have a certain occupancy. But I think obviously people have got around that other ways, and I'm sure there's ways that you can underwrite or guarantee a loan. And I haven't taken the time to really dig in on that. But at some point, I'd like to dig in on that and figure out how to build some type of higher density complex where they own their own unit. And you might see people even that own a home somewhere else and just want to own one of these little units when they come back to visit their kids or for the summertime and then go to their winter place.
You talked about density. That's something that I had heard that I hadn't even, until last year, it wasn't even a concept that I thought of. Council Bluffs is really spread out. When you look at, what our population is per square mile or square block or acre or whatever, we are spread out quite a ways. You take a look at some of the other communities of similar population size, a lot more dense.
Right.
And from what I've heard and what I was told was that helps on the service end of it. And it doesn't take as much money to be able to take care of an entire community.
Yeah, I mean, it's less stress on the utilities. I mean, when you start talking about living units, like for instance, and you take that 102 units I put on Valley View, wow, that increases the statistics down in that area. You put 102 more living units, you talk about North Broadway, that's been sitting empty in a street that has 19 or 20 houses on it. Now you're putting 112 living units there. That density, you put in, an 16 or 18 million dollar, complex there for taxes too. It helps take some of the pressure off the other people because you're adding assessed value. It's interesting. You go to these big cities and you just see the condos go straight up in the air, and you think, man, on that little piece of ground, there's a lot of property tax getting paid there. And that sewer line costs just the same to run in front of that building that's clear up in the air as if, like us, we're, like you say, we're so spread out. And that's actually on the Valley View site. The reason I did that is my brother one time gave me a little heat on that. He said, why do you guys keep going spreading out further? Why don't you develop the ground we already have, where we already have sewer and water? And I started thinking that way, like, how can I find these infill sites that haven't been developed and go in and try to solve the problem? And this site was sitting on Ivy Drive for 25 years and no one could figure it out, or no one was willing to. And finally, I tried to find a solution of how to put that kind of tax base there. And we need to start, all you gotta have to do is look at an aerial map and look down and see the bare spots and say, okay, what could we put there and how could we add more density? And I think that's a good point,
There was a lot of talk of that. I'm thinking back to the last election cycle, and we had the Dodge Riverside thing, and that's a separate deal. But one of the arguments against it was we had so many open areas in town already to take advantage of that.
Sure.
That's kind of what you're doing.
Yes.
Looking at that.
That is exactly what we're doing. And there's some more sites. And, I agree. The Dodge Riverside thing, that was controversial. I mean, that's an old time park golf course. And I understand the people that oppose that in some ways. Whatever side you're on, you can't not understand the argument some people had. I mean, there's a lot of history there. There are some other sites. And the other thing, at some point, there's some sites that are worn out that maybe need to be raised or taken down and rebuilt there. And there's some stuff downtown here even that could have some work done or developed. So I think as things become more expensive and demand stays steady, naturally things will get torn down and rebuilt, and things will get redeveloped. I mean, you look at the old Urban building here now, which I don't know if it's still called the Urban building, on the corner of 4th and Broadway there, across from 2535 Main Place. And that building sat empty forever, and they redeveloped that, and that was a great deal to add that tax base there. And Even like at one time, I owned this building, believe it or not, that we're in
Really?
here, the Park building. Yeah, I own this. Bought it in 1996. It was the first commercial real estate investment I ever bought. And I bought this in 1996 from a gentleman named Dr. Welby. He owned it. He had a chiropractic clinic here. And he had we had it for sale, and I was able to buy it being in real estate, and I used my commission to help for the down payment, and he sold it to me on land contract. I got my dad and mother to go in with me because I didn't have enough money to come up with the whole down payment. And we bought this, and I kind of had a dream at one time to turn this into residential,
Yeah.
and at the time it was parking. I couldn't give designated parking spaces, so I thought it's going to be too hard to rent without designated parking. But even some of these buildings downtown could be redeveloped. I love what they did with the post office, what those guys did over there.
I haven't been in it, but
Oh.
I've seen just some renderings.
Promise me,
Yeah.
Todd, in the next month, you'll go take a tour that they took the courthouse, or I mean, the whole courtrooms, and they made like game room and a hangout and a lounge, and they have all kinds of activities. And they made the apartments, like they kind of embraced the building and made the apartments, they're not just cookie cutter, they're unique. And when that came for sale, John and I went over to the auction, and they were bidding on it. And the folks that were bidding on it, we looked at each other and we said, we're not going to bid anymore. We know these guys, whatever they do will be great. And they did, honestly, better than we could have ever done. I feel like I know enough now maybe to do something like that, but at the time I did not have that vision. And those guys, the stuff they did was amazing. And we're thankful because they're our neighbor. Just like across the street, the Cohen building, they fixed that up. The only one left is that Scott Street building across from the Bugsnort down there on Scott Street. And I hope in time here someone will come up with a good idea on that. I'm actually going to visit with Lynn Dittmar on that about some different ideas maybe possible. So
Council Bluffs is built on local relationships, and so is Avila Bank. Whether you're managing everyday finances, growing a business, or planning what comes next, Avila's local team is ready to help you work toward financial success. Visit Avila Bank downtown at 117 Pearl Street or at 237 Bennett Avenue. Learn more at avila.bank. Local people serving local needs for more than 150 years. Avila Bank, member FDIC. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or even if you're planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. With fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. They're locally owned and trusted and take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, they're the ones to call. Visit waldsteinplumbing.com.
That's another area of renovation. You take a look at some of the buildings that are up Pearl and South Main, that in the area that we're at. Some have already been rehabbed and look great. There's room for other ones, and I know that there's a big downtown push going on right now.
yeah.
And I can just see so much possibility.
It's so much. I don't know if you've ever seen the Cultural Trail in Indianapolis, but I was in Indianapolis, and I went with a group here from town, and we looked at the Cultural Trail and what they did there. And basically they took a corridor. It would be like if you took from the 100 block and came down through Haymarket and went down this way, and they just designated a cultural trail and redeveloped it. And there was some pushback at the beginning, but they literally got billions of dollars investment later when they committed and did it. And I look down through this area, and you look down like the street from where we're at right now, and even what like Pete Peters and Deb Peters did with the Creston building and how they redid that. And there's so much of that down here. And I think people forget of all the improvements we've done in the last 25 years because it happens over a long period of time. And I always tell people, don't beat yourself up. We've did a lot of good things in the last 25 years, and I can't even imagine how nice it's going to look in another 20. I just hope I'm here to see it,
Well, you will be. You're a healthy guy.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Anything else out there in the works that you got passions going on right now about that we want to let people know?
Well, without taking too much time, I would tell you that one thing I'm real passionate about is we have about 130 acres out off Pioneer Trail south of town. And right now we're finishing our final grade there. We're about 30 days away from being done. We've been working on that 4 years, and I'm sure the county's ready for us to be done with it. I've been working on it 4 years. We plan to pave streets probably the second week in September. and we're gonna have like 88 1-acre lots. They back up to the Wabash Trace Trail. They're 1 to 2 acres. They have like water. They're going to have cable. I mean, natural gas. They're beautiful. I'm really excited about that. We're building a website for it right now so people can like go and see what's there. And we're getting a lot of buzz and a lot of people reaching out to us. And if they're patient, we're going to have more info probably in the next month. But that'll be something pretty cool. If you're out on a bike ride, you'll see that development. Right before Margaritaville.
Did I hear you right? You said those are acre lots?
1 acre. Now this is just outside of the city limits. So
Yeah.
They have to be 1 acre to 2 acre lots.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're on pavement, storm sewer, curb. I was just there last night. I took my family and we got in the Ranger and we went and drove it all to see how the grading was going. And it's pretty exciting. It's starting to really shape up and come to what it's the final look's going to be. And we've been working with Lanahaw and Omaha, and they designed this beautiful limestone sign. It's a big monument sign out of limestone, and we're doing steel laser cut. We're calling it Legacy Ridge, and it's kind of funny. We name the streets after our kids, so it's Ireland Circle, Quinton Circle, Pierce Point, Lila Lane, and Wyatt Drive. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
when you kids grow up and they say, "Hey, take a look at this."
Yeah, they have their own street. That's one advantage of being a developer is you can do that as long as someone else hasn't taken the streets.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it does have to be available.
Yep.
All right, just a couple of minutes left here, Jason. But fair just got over with. Ran into you out at the fair.
Yes.
I know you were showing some folks out that have never been to a county fair before. How did it go that night?
It went awesome. We have some friends, and we went on a trip with them, and our kids went, and our kids really befriended their kids. And so they get together about once a month, and so basically Brogan and Lauren they wanted to bring their daughter over to see a new little puppy we have. And while they were at the house, I said, "Have you ever been to the fair?" And they said, "I've never been to a fair." I mean, they live in Omaha, Nebraska. They've never been to a fair. And I said,
not just the fair at West Fair, a fair.
They've never been to like a county fair. So I said, "Jump in the car. Let's drive over there." So we went over to the fair. She, little Ela, I think she's 4 or 5. She had so much fun on the rides, and we stopped by and went to the tractor pulls for a while and just looked at all the animals and saw them. A lot of interesting smells there with all the animals. But
Yeah.
I will tell you, everyone should go to the fair. I thought it was a great experience, and actually, in 2 weeks here, when the Iowa State Fair comes, it was such an impact. I said we're going to take the whole family there.
That's great.
So we're going to go to the Iowa State Fair.
That's great. You can you get your feet wet with West Fair, and then you go to the granddaddy of them all, if you will.
And maybe we'll run into you.
We're going to be there on it's the 16th. I think we're going. We're going on a Sunday. So,
okay, well, we're going to go on a Friday and be there Friday night, stay all Saturday, and then we'll come home.
Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, lots to do, lots of food.
Yeah.
So take loose fitting pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Idea. All right.
Cholesterol pills.
Jason James with Heartland Properties. Thank you much, sir. Appreciate you coming in so much. Thanks for the hard work that you're doing. I look forward to getting some more updates.
Thanks, Todd.
And we thank you for watching this episode of Council Bluffs Today. If you hit like, share, follow, and even subscribe, that information tells the algorithm that more people want to be able to see what it is that Jason was just talking about. So it's a free thing that you can do to help grow the program and help grow the information about everything that's happening around Council Bluffs. Thank you so much in advance for doing that. My name is Todd Studer. Council Bluffs Today presented by Waldstein Plumbing. We'll see you next time.